of course, if there is a metaphyseal deformity, the indication of osteotomy is a good one, and you can correct that by just changing the shape of the proximal tibia on distal femur. If the deformity is mainly inside of the joint, if you have an arthritis, a wear which is located in the medial side of the knee, for example, the good indication to replace that and have a uni to correct this deformity. When talking about deformity, the big problem is to define what is normality. And we published this paper 1 year ago on what is normal in human beings. And no matter where you come from in the world, no matter what it is the ethnicity, we all have something like that. We have some deformity in the tibia and the femur, which is very tiny. We all have around 3 degrees of varus in the tibia and 3 degrees of valgus in the femur. And it is like this for more than 3 million years because the Australopithecus got exactly the same knee that we have. Slight amount of valgus in the femur, slight amount of varus in the tibia. Now the question is, why should we change those points if there is, of course, a massive abnormality like a Blount disease or post-traumatic fractures, post-traumatic situation? Of course, you can say that I'm going to replace or change that. But if it's, let's say, a normal human being with a slight amount of varus in the tibia and the femur, the idea is we're going to change that because of mechanical reason. And those mechanical reasons are pretty easy to define. It's not something new. You have here Johan Mikulicz, which was a surgeon in let's say, Ukrainian, Poland, something in Europe in the late 19th century. And this guy defined that we all have alignment that make us having this straight line passing from the femoral head to the center of the ankle, slightly in the middle of the joint, slightly more medial to the center, but let's say in the middle of the joint. And the whole thing is, on osteotomy, we don't want this to happen. We don't want to have this Mikulicz line outside or inside the joint. We want it to be in the center of the joint for a reason which is the way that the wear are balanced in between the medial and the lateral side of the knee. The two compartments receive equal forces during the day when you're working on that. And thinking about that, this is pioneer papers in the 70s by Mr. Fujisawa, and he defined that on 44 joints during arthroscopy, he defined that the best way to convert these mechanical problems into a new mechanically aligned leg was to push a little bit the the alignment to a valgus knee for a varus, and to push it pretty far on the lateral side of the knee. But think about it, at this time, this was the X-ray, pre or post-op. So we are not doing any, this is a wrong indication of osteotomy if you follow what I said to the first 2 slides. This is a major intra-articular disease. So this is not a good indication for osteotomy. But at this time, uni didn't exist. TKA were at the beginning, so it was the only option to correct problems inside of the knee. They do big deformity correction outside of the knee because there was no option. And Dugdale and Noyes in the early 2000s, they said that this 60–70% weight-bearing line shifting was potentially too much, and they decided empirically that the good position would be 62.5% if this percentage is the width of the tibia, so 0% being in the medial side, 100% being the lateral side. The good weight-bearing line after the surgery should locate around 62%. But we are not doing this anymore. I mean, most of the trained and high-volume osteotomy surgeons are targeting something in indication which is around 50–55%. We are trying to have a normally aligned leg at the end. We are not pushing too much on valgus. Then come the borderline indications. And for me, it's very easy. I'm a sports surgeon, so patients come to me for meniscus, ligament, cartilage, or other issues, and they don't realize that they have an alignment problem. And the question is, what is the good indication in this kind of guys? And I would say that it's pretty easy. If there is a metaphyseal deformity, more than 5 degrees, let's say, for me it's 5 degrees, it can be maybe 3 or 4 for Chris or somebody else, but let's say more than 5 degrees. You know that having this deformity decreases your chance of success. Any kind of cartilage replacement, cartilage repair, meniscus repair, ligament repair will be impacted by this deformity, and you potentially should correct it. Let's there is tons of literature on that, and let's have a first case. This is a degenerative meniscal root tear, and the patient got a major varus deformity, and the question is, should I leave it like this, with this 4 or 5 degrees of varus? Is the healing rate of those root tears good if I'm leaving 5 degrees of varus? In my hands, they are not. So I'm not leaving the patient with this kind of deformity if they have a root tear. I'm correcting them. And of course, I'm repairing the roots. This is why you have this X-ray with the tunnel for the roots. But I'm also switching the mechanical aspect of the wear inside of the joint to unload my meniscus repair. Same goes for meniscus allograft. This is a patient with post-meniscectomy syndrome on the lateral side of the knee. You can see there is no meniscus left, and she came to me for an allograft. She was 18 at this time, and we do an osteotomy plus an allograft, because otherwise, if I'm not correcting the mechanical aspect of the proximal tibia, probably I will have a failure of my meniscus graft, so I'm switching that. Same goes for this kind of post-ACL patient. I will do a live surgery tomorrow on that. Of course, this guy got already 3 ACL surgery. He got a major slope, major varus deformity. So I know this 4th graft will be a failure too if I'm not correcting that. But knowing that, you need to correct at the good spot. And for this patient, the varus was mainly in the femur. So I had to do a double level osteotomy, plus a slope changing osteotomy, plus an ACL plus meniscus repair. So it's starting to be a pretty complex surgery. Most of surgeons will stage this kind of surgery, but when you're very confident in your osteotomy ability, you can do this in one stage. It will take you around 2 hours. Then come the cartilage issue, and you have a big fight, let's say Germany versus USA. It's a classic fight, let's say, on the last century. The German will say that knee osteotomy do everything. You do the osteotomy, the cartilage will heal. And the American way is more or less, I'm doing the cartilage and I'm doing the additional osteotomy to protect it. I'm more or less American on that, and you have an example here of allograft of it's a mosaic plasty with allograft with plus osteotomy, or this kind of cases with this 18 years old, completely demolished lateral side of the knee with this massive valgus alignment, and we do a massive allograft, plus of course, bifocal osteotomy, so you have the real-time surgery actually. I'm very, very fast. No, I'm kidding. It's just taking X-ray at the end. But so we correct the femoral deformity, we graft the cartilage, and we correct the tibial deformity. And at the end, you can imagine that this patient got a straight leg plus this cartilage repair. So we use the Artrex system to do minced cartilage graft. Actually, it's my favorite surgery ever because it's pretty cheap and pretty efficient. And this is the aspect after the allograft mosaic-plasty, and the aspect at the end with the cartilage graft. And this is the 2 images you have pre-op and post-op. You can see that you have quite a new cartilage regrowth everywhere in this patient, which has nothing 1 year ago. And today it's not perfect, but it is 18, and there was no good option on this guy. So take-home messages for this first talk, I would say, indication for basic osteotomy are very easy. You have a metaphyseal deformity with an intra-articular problem, pain, meniscus tears, cartilage tears, ACL, medial ligament problems, you can do an osteotomy. The deformity should be extra-articular. Do not sacrifice anatomy. It will be the planning talk of Christian. We are here for mechanical issues, and we do not sacrifice anatomy and create massive abnormal tibia and femoral deformity. And you should stick to that. This is what human beings have: 3 degrees of varus in the tibia, 3 degrees of valgus in the femur, and a quite oblique joint line of 2 degrees should be preserved at the end of the surgery. Thank you. Thank you, guys.